I don't know who is here. Leave me a hello and a thumbs up. And today I want to talk about struggle love and stepping back because people don't know the benefits of stepping back. It's so empowering. And when people are having that struggle, you can really get carried away. You're so engrossed in it and you get blinded by what is happening to you. You cannot think straight. And so you don't even realize all the ways that you should be adjusting so that you can make the most of your situation and your relationship. What happens is that people hold on, whereas in life, a lot of the time, it's usually in the contradiction of what you think you should be doing. At times when you're feeling under pressure, the opposite of what you're doing most of the time is what you should be doing. And in a situation where we're feeling like we're in a struggle in a relationship, all the things that we employ that we're thinking will help us to do better, to better position ourselves, like doing more or complaining or trying to get the other person to see our perspective, all those things usually work against us. What we actually should be doing is taking a step back. Like when you're so close to a building, you're close to a beautiful building, like say the Eiffel Tower, you you are not going to be able to see the beauty of it. You need to step back to be able to take in the full picture. And that is what happens when we're in a struggle of relationship. And I'm not talking only about romantic relationships, although that is what I focus on. But even if you think about it, for for people who have a struggle love issue with family members, it's the same thing. While you are embroiled in this thing, you're doing everything, you are grabbing at straws, doing everything to get yourself better positioned in this relationship. But what you really need is to take a step back. Stepping back gives clarity, much more clarity, and people don't um, recognize that this is what they should do. And when you do that, you'll find that you have a lot of emotional, psychological, and personal growth that occur in the time that you are stepping away from this relationship. All of a sudden you begin to see things in a new light. And I'm going to share some of the points. I've made some points here that I want to share with you. Yeah. So many beautiful outcomes from stepping back from a struggle of relationship. And when I say struggle, when I say step back, if you've watched any of the videos on this channel, I understand that people are always concerned about stepping back because the way that the world preaches it, it's they usually make it like the person is your enemy and you should just take a break completely from the person and toss them out of your life. And this is one of the things that keeps people from taking advantage of stepping back because they don't want to let go of that person, whether it's a family member or a romantic partner. People don't want to let go of that person. But let me tell you one thing, when people are doing something, a lot of the times they're just living life the way that they know. If they knew how to get along with you better, they most likely will be doing that. So when people are doing something that you are not happy about, it's something about the perspective that they have in their mind. And you won't change that perspective when you remain right there in front of them, doing the same things that you've been doing because you were just being yourself when they started doing those things. So you just being yourself is what makes them do those things. And now, how do you people change? People react to this by changing and trying to do even more or better of whatever they were doing before. Usually, since you are the one who is in pain from what is going on in this relationship, it means that you've most likely been doing what you think is your best. You most likely will not have deliberately been doing anything to cause them to behave the way that they're behaving towards you that you don't like. And so whatever it is that you're doing, you believe that it is the right thing to do. And therefore you're going to do even more of that now that you're seeing that you're not getting the treatment that you want from them. You're now going to do even more of that. So if you were being patient, you're going to try to be even more patient. If you were kind, you're going to try to be even kinder. If you were generous, you're going to try to be even more generous. But those things don't work. Those things don't work because that was not their reason in the first place. Because I'm sure you probably would have tried to have conversations about these things and you would have made your case and still they're not changing. The reason they're not changing is, again, it's perspective. Now, let's not look at things the way that people out there generally present to us. They present these things in a way where it's like we take these people now as our enemy. We take the person as your enemy, this person who is doing these things to you. And then the next thing that we do is that we want to cut them out of our lives. But no, people are coming from what they know. Sometimes they're coming from their past experiences, trauma, whatever it is. So they are just living their lives. But what they're doing is now affecting us negatively. So we have to understand that their thoughts and feelings are valid as well. So first off, don't look at them as an enemy. But now what they're doing is affecting us negatively. And so you trying to get them to do something different by talking to them isn't going to change all the past experiences that they've had, the things that led them to become who they are today and why they're doing what they're doing. So once you understand that, you will begin to see why talking to them and trying to talk them out of it usually doesn't work, right? And of course, yes, there are situations where some people have deliberately decided to do this thing because when they came into your life, the intention was from the get go to treat you in a particular way because they wanted to get a particular result out of you. They wanted a particular reaction out of you. So maybe they're trying to manipulate you so that you do even more of whatever it is, maybe being generous, kinda, or listening to whatever they suggest and doing more and more of that, right? So there are those people. So what we have to do is we have to now step out of the relationship, like step back. For those who are afraid of cutting the relationship, and I don't even suggest that, just take a step back. When you take a step back, it does so much. It is empowering. Let me tell you the very first thing. It shows that you have discipline, that you have a discipline to walk away from something that is hurting you. And that automatically gives you more respect, or automatically gives you respect that you didn't have in the first place from that person. They recognize that they cannot just mistreat you and walk all over you, and you'll be sitting there taking it and even begging for more. So first of all, you establish that you are a disciplined person who is able to see what is not working for them and walk away from it. And then it gives them more reason to trust you because there is no rational, reasonable thinking person who is going to trust someone who they can see doesn't even care about their own self. And if I cannot trust you and I don't respect you, what kind of treatment do you think I'll be giving to you? You don't matter. I won't have any regard for you when I'm doing things. The last thing that I'll be doing is thinking about all the things that you've told me. You don't really matter. I don't have to worry about you because no matter what happens, you are going to be there. And so, even if I'm not doing it deliberately or consciously, unconsciously, you just don't matter in the scheme of things. Every time I'm making a plan, I don't think about you because nothing I do is going to change your being there anyway. You're going to be there. So, this is one reason why you must step away. You step away, and instead of talking, because people do not, when you keep talking and you keep repeating what you're repeating, they won't even hear you anymore. Your voice now becomes like, it's just noise. It's noise in the background. So now they no longer pay attention to whatever it is that you're saying. And they don't hear you. So it's no wonder that you'll be making all that noise, but if you haven't taken action, you won't get the results. So the first thing that you need to do is walk, give some distance, walk away, right? And when you walk away, sometimes it's even someone who's trying to give you a hint, trying to tell you to leave them alone. So when you walk away, that person now has the chance to either be relieved, oh, he's gone, she's gone, or they start missing you because they now realize, I don't have this person anymore with whom I could do this and do that and do that. Or the person who will do this and that for me. And so now they want to come and seek you, or they're afraid, oh, I'm going to lose this person. Now they have to come and find out, why are you no longer being as available as before? And now is the time when you say, it's just that I don't like this, that, and that was happening. And since you're not changing it, the only alternative I have is to remove myself from that situation so that now they have the opportunity to think about what they've been doing, that action that you don't like, that thing that they've been doing that you don't like. And they now have the chance to reflect on it and decide whether they're changing. And then they can now make their case to you. And so let me give you some of the things that I have noted here. I say discipline is sexy. It is very. You tell me, when you are dealing with people, tell me that you don't like people that you see show you that they value themselves. So why do you think your own case will be different? Why do you think that if someone comes around you and they just have no value for themselves, you know that everything that I just said in the past 5 minutes is the way that you would take them. You will never take them serious. Every now and then you think about them and you'll be considerate of them when you're conscious of it. But unconsciously, if you're doing anything in a hurry, if you're making plans, you don't worry about them because it's like, this is a non-starter. There's no need to even worry about this because I already know they're going to go with whatever I do. So imagine that this is the way that you're being treated. They don't even spend enough time to even think of maltreating. They don't even think about it. It just happens automatically. So that's what you're doing to yourself when you remain in that situation where you don't like something and yet you're not moving, because what you continue to accept is what you continue to choose. It means that you are choosing it now by yourself. And so one of the first things that I said here, that I have here, is you restore your self-worth, both for yourself and for the other person. And in truth, you actually begin to feel it. If you've ever done this before, for those who haven't done it, the first time that you do it, you will feel that empowerment. And when you feel that empowerment, you will never go back. So if you're hearing this for the first time, go and try it. But there's something that I always want. I have a caveat. Don't become antagonistic. Don't threaten, oh, I'm going to leave, I'm going to nothing. You just quietly withdraw yourself, withdraw your energy. Because in fact, doing those things will be counterproductive. Those things like trying to fight, trying to insist, trying to quarrel, no. And again, I want to believe that this is someone that you care about, so you love this person. So can we understand that we need to also have an inward shift and change? When you love someone, you don't approach them with antagonism. You don't think that by you being fierce and difficult, you make things smoother. No, right? But sometimes people overcompensate because they feel like I've been so gentle and laid back, and so now I'm just going to show them that I am tough. No, we don't need to do that unless that is who you naturally are. And if that is who you naturally are, then it's working against you as well. You see, because what results have you gotten from it? Unless you're with someone who responds to that, in which case, then you're not the person that this video is for, right? So you restore your self-worth, try it. I'm telling you, it makes you feel good. And all of a sudden, you recognize that, hey, this is something that I've been missing and I'm going to now be doing this. You'll never go back, I promise you. And then you start to get some healing because you're now not under whatever it was that was happening to you before. You get some relief. There's always that sense of panic and fear that, what if I lose this person? But let me ask you something. Why do people worry about losing something that is already working against them? The only things that I can think of are that you are so hooked on that person for whatever it is that they bring to you, they bring to your life. But the truth is that when you've taken this step back, whatever it is that they bring to your life, you're going to be away from it for some time. And in the beginning, is going to hurt. But after a while, gradually and gradually, especially when you're feeling this empowerment that happens to everyone, things will begin to balance out. And you'll realize that, yes, you want that thing, but you're not going to trade in your self worth and your self esteem for that thing. If it means that the only way you get it is by making an idiot of yourself, then you're going to begin to realize that, wait a minute, I can get it from someone else, somewhere else. I just have to be patient. And that next time, you're going to present yourself as someone who has self worth. You're not going to get into this position that you got into with this person. And at this time, it also now makes you begin to reflect on everything that you've done in the past that led you into the position of being someone who could be mistreated and disrespected. Because this is a time where you'll be reflective, a lot of self introspection, and it will help you to note those areas where you really slacked, the things that made you open to being someone who will be treated in the way that this person has been treating you. So you will now recognize your own weaknesses. And that's another thing that stepping back does for us. When you step back, then you will know the areas where you need work. I often say to people that relationships are a mirror showing us exactly who we are. So do you see that now? So they are actually good for us. In fact, having problems in relationships is something that is good for us because it now shows us areas of our personality and character that we need to work on that we didn't even know. And so it's now up to us to again have that discipline to do that work. So now we know, oh, this thing that I am hooked on, whatever it is that you're getting from that person. So maybe it's Coke. You're hooked on the Coke that they give you. And so you now recognize that I have a Coke addiction. And this addiction makes me lose control and leaves me open to abuse. And so you now know that you need to, well, of course, Coke addiction is very obvious. So whatever it is that you are hooked on with this person, right? Maybe that your only company. And so now you realize that your social life sucks. You realize that, and maybe sometimes that's actually why some people are holding on, because this is the only person that they have. Now you realize, you start wishing that you had other people. Now you understand that this is an area of your life that you need to work on. You need to improve and expand your social life. Because when you're not told, sometimes when you are in that relationship, you feel so good about it that you feel like you can do without everybody else. But now you'll suddenly realize, and if it's people who have got away from their family, if it's a romantic relationship, now they suddenly realize, oh, I need to strengthen my relationship with my family. So you see what I mean? Maybe then you realize, oh, I have no hobbies. Now I should have some hobbies because this would have taken my mind off of this. So it now leads you to a path of self development where you now begin to sharpen yourself into a better version of yourself. And that's why I say that when you're in a struggle of relationship and you remain in it, like in the last video that I posted, I said some people actually begin to say, because I've heard that also, I've heard all sorts of things. People begin to say, oh, this is a person with whom I've seen visions that we're going to achieve this and that. I tell you that those things are not coming from God. Or if they are coming from God, they're coming in the sense that, yeah, maybe you're going to achieve this and that with the person, but you don't need to make an idiot of yourself until that point. Still show yourself as someone worthy, someone that has self-esteem before you get to that point. And if this is a vision from the Holy Spirit that you're going to achieve anything with that person, you will. It'll happen. It'll happen without you being a rag, without you being treated like a rag. At any point, remember that you were made in the image of God. And even if you don't know that and you don't believe that, how about the portions that say, don't cast your pearl before swine, right? So I want you to, as I always say, take yourself out of the equation and put instead an egg or a newborn baby or your daughter or son, and imagine that what you're subjecting yourself to in that relationship is happening to them. You know that you wouldn't want them to remain there. And so that's why I say that sometimes it's not caring enough about other people that makes us susceptible to being punished. And you will see that once you do this for yourself, you will become a more empathetic person. You think already that you're an empath because maybe you're staying with someone because you forgive them all the time. But that is selfishness, because your reason for forgiving them is because you want the relationship to work for your own sake, because you want it. So that's why I say again that life happens in ironies a lot of times, right? When you're thinking that you're doing something for someone, sometimes you're actually doing it for yourself. And that's why we stay in pain. But you see, the moment that you insert someone else into that situation and imagine that it was happening to someone that you cared about, you will know the right thing to do. You would imagine if they were chess pieces, you will take that person out of that game because you want something better for them. So always try to put something that you care in your place and see if you should stay in that thing. And remember, again, I said you're not permanently cutting off anybody. The door is still open. You leave the door open. The door is still open. But you just extract yourself so that you give them either the breathing space. And sometimes some people don't want to do this because they don't actually want this. They know that this person wants them out of this relationship, but they don't want to leave. They don't want to step back because they're afraid that they're going to give the person what they want. Because I see people saying, oh no, if I do that, then you're telling me that if I do that, then she's going to miss me. Oh no, he's not going to miss me. He'll be gone. He'll be happy. So that means that you know that this person really wants to be free of you, and now you're insisting on not giving them their freedom. So, do you see how we often contribute to our own punishments? I say this all the time. So, let's not be doing that, right? Even if you don't think that this is what the person wants, give them that opportunity by stepping back. And if that's what they want, they'll take it. Don't forget that if you love something, you set it free. And if it comes back to you, then it was meant to be yours. Every adult is able to decide by themselves that I want to be in a close relationship with this person. I want this family member near me. I want this partner. I want this person to be my partner. And if they are the one doing something to threaten that relationship and you step back, then of course they know the ball is in their court, and any day they want to, they can make repairs to that relationship and have you back in their life. And then some people are going to be afraid that maybe the person has too much of an ego. Then you're dealing with someone who isn't mature for a relationship if that's the case. And if you don't let them go, it is you again choosing your punishment. Okay, so let me go back to the benefits. Talked about restored self-worth, emotional healing, and yeah, clearer perspective. Yeah, because that distance provides clarity on the relationship dynamics and what is acceptable behavior for both parties. So they have some time to get some clarity on what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in this relationship. And you have some time to, you see the way that you're feeling when you're away from all that stress. You see what the relationship dynamic has brought into your life, and you can decide now, okay, I'd rather have my life this way. So if and when I go back to this relationship, this is the life that I prefer. I prefer to have a life without that stress that that person is bringing, so that if and when you get back there, you already know that that is not preferable. So if it's happening, you are not going to be in that relationship. And in fact, you're not going to go back there until this other party assures us by their behavior. And that's again why I say don't cut them off completely, since that's your fear. Keep them as a friend. I made a video where I talked about that. What is the title? I said, I don't remember what the title is. So you keep them as a friend. And if you keep this person as a friend, if it's a romantic partner, when you step away, it's not like you're not going to ever respond to their calls or ever communicate with them. You keep them as if, don't listen to what the world tells you. Don't forget that. You don't need to cut them off. But you don't need to start picking up your phone to call them to say, hey, I'm just checking on you. You don't need to do that. Because in the first place, this is someone who was disrespecting you. So you are not. There is no way, it doesn't make any logical sense that you now step away and then you now start reaching back to them. That shows they still can look at you as someone that they can toss around. That discipline that they're supposed to see from you and the respect they're supposed to give to you, they're not going to, because now you step back, you say you don't like this, but you're still calling me to come and give you more of what you don't like. Do you understand what I mean? I'm only saying that when they try to establish contact with you, you don't have to do what you're seeing all over the place that says no contact. You don't have to do that. If it's convenient for you, you can respond to the call or message, or you can do that later. You can give it some time and do that later when you want to really think about what you will say to them when they say anything to you. So there's no rush in getting back in contact with them. In fact, you should not be in a hurry to get back in contact with them, because before this time they're trying to contact you, have they even tried to find out from you why you're no longer so available? Have they tried it? If they haven't tried it, then maybe they're just looking at you as something that, oh, I just press this button and it will be right there for me, or she'll be right there for me. So give it some time. There's no need to rush. Allow them to think about your absence. Actually, yeah. So you're not in a hurry to respond when they're trying to reach you, so that they understand that, oh, I've really hurt this guy. I've really hurt this lady because, or I've really done something to upset this person because they truly aren't answering my call or responding to me. So they get the time to think about that. It gives them some clarity to know that you're really serious, that you're not happy with this. And then they can now hear you. All that yapping, all that talking you were talking before that they couldn't hear. Now everything you were saying, they begin to remember what you were saying. That's if they care. If it's someone who doesn't care, they'll be like, okay, good riddance, which is also good for you. Because if someone doesn't really care, you don't want to be with them. Why do you want to be with someone who really doesn't care? What is the essence of the relationship if they really don't care? If you're just there because they are taking advantage of you, they're using you for their own benefits. Do you really want to just be there as a supply to to be there for someone else's benefits. And the only way that they have you with them is if I can have access to you so that I can use you, because that's what it means. And so that this live doesn't go on for too long, I will stop it now. And yeah, if I see that there was no one here, then I will take this live and put it back out as a live so that anyone who comes across it will meet it. And I will continue this conversation. I will continue this particular conversation next time. This was just the first live on this channel. I will make a post to let it be known so that if you come across it, you will know and be ready for it and come with questions. So enjoy this weekend and see you